This was a really hard video for me to make, but I think I had to make it. It's been on me. It's been sitting with me for a while, and I just had to say it. But I think racism is a good thing, at least for me. It's it's been a good thing. You know, it really stems from this understanding that life isn't always fair. Life isn't fair, period. Not even always. It isn't fair at all. And the sooner that you can come to terms with that, the sooner you can start making changes in your life so that your life can be better. The sooner you can stop being a victim and you can start taking power into your own hands and making change. People that come out and complain about racism, complain about sexism, complain about anything, ageism, whatever, like all those isms, it comes from such a weak place, from such a place of scarcity. That can't be good. I think if you look at anyone that's been successful, they've always come from a place of abundance. And racism teaches you that you can either be a victim or you can be a champion, you can be a maverick, and you can stand alone. For me personally, it isolates me. I've lived in areas where I've been alone in my skin color. I lived in China for 5 years. I think I was one of the only dark-skinned people in the small city I lived in. It isolates you, but when you're isolated, you find that power from within. It makes you thick-skinned. It makes you understand that people are not always going to like you, and for reasons out of your control, and that's okay. I dated a girl, I think it was about a year ago, and she told me she wasn't really into dark guys, she liked white guys. And I could have played a victim and been like, hey, you're racist. Now you have to have sex with me. That's not how that works. You've got to use that energy for something greater. You've got to use that fire that someone sparks in you for something greater. I remember being 12 years old and being told that this girl in my grade didn't like me because my skin was the same color as poo. That was a bad day. I think at 12, hearing that would probably put a downer on your day. You know, that was not a good day for me. But it was an incredibly important life lesson. Some things are out of your control, and only a fool would try and change those things. I think racism actually unites us more than it divides us. Have you ever walked into, as a dark-skinned person, I walk into a club, I see another dark-skinned person, there's straight away an understanding. I can go up and say hello. They're going to welcome me, or they're going to welcome me in, because we've been through this very similar things in our lives. So yeah, they can say racism divides us, but racism will always exist. No matter what, we're humans. First impressions count. You see a fat person, your instant reaction is that person is impulsive, they are weak, they have no discipline, they're also not very knowledgeable. If you become fat, the amount of abuse you have to do to your body to become fat, the amount of sitting down and not getting up, the amount of shit you have to eat, look, that's a different video. But I'm just saying, you see someone who's, let's say, in good shape, you know that they're disciplined, you know that they're willing to do the hard things, you know that their mind's sharp, because most people that work out every day mentally are very sharp. First impressions are so important. It's the same with skin color. No matter what, if you see someone from a different race, you're going to have some preconceived notions about that person. They may prove you wrong, and they probably will. But it exists. It'll always exist. So why do we try and hide that ignorance? Hiding that ignorance does not get rid of it. We should be saying how we feel. I think the more people talk about how they feel and talk about their ignorances and prejudices, the more that opens the door for someone else to come through and say, hey, that's incorrect. Let me correct you. And that's how we move forward as humanity. But right now, we live in an overly sensitive society. Everyone's so scared of offending other people. We're all really scared of saying the wrong things. We're all really scared of being cancelled. Who cares? We're all really scared of not fitting in. Who cares? We should be saying exactly how we feel. Actually, racism still exists today, on like a establishment level. It exists today. I mean, all you have to do is look at something like the latest Little Mermaid movie. They cast a black chick as the Little Mermaid, right? So imagine being a white person and being told that, hey, you're too common. You're too ordinary. We don't want you. We don't want your skin color in the next movie. We want a black person. We want a Chinese person. We want a brown person. We want a Mexican. How is that not racism? That's just another form of racism. It's just accepted because we're allowed to beat on white people. Why is that? I don't know. That's still a skin color. And white people today, the majority of them are not responsible for the crimes of the white people before them. So why are they paying for those crimes? Because that's what we're doing, right? Racism still exists today. It's just reversed. It's an overcorrection. It's almost like saying, hey, the black people were slaves, 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Black people were slaves. Now white people need to be slaves, just to even it out. That's not how we go forward. But that's where we are right now. We're at a stage now where being white is actually seen as something you should be ashamed of, which is a joke, because that's still racism. That divides us again. But anyway, this is something I had to get off my chest because it bothers me at a cellular level. I see this all the time. I see everyone so sensitive and everyone's so scared of offending people, and race is such a hot topic now. It's really not. It's only what you only, words are just words, right? You only give it power by putting intention to it, by putting your own. If you're offended by what someone says, you're giving him power over you. Why would you give them power over you? Let them call you that. Let them say that. You walk away. Someone could call me fat on the street right now, and I could go home and be upset about that. I could go home and be offended, but I know I'm not fat. So those words mean nothing to me. So if someone calls you dirty, or someone calls you black or brown, or you're none of those things. Your skin color is not you. Your soul is colorless. You are a light being. There is light inside you. There is no color to that light. If you know that, they can't offend you. They can't touch you. Think about that next time you deal with any sort of prejudice outside of just race.